If you are in the in-class version, the lecture class, not the online students, you will see two versions, two D2L sections. We have 30 students in the online one. We have 15 students in the in-class one. To make administration easier, we're putting y'all into the D2L section for the online class, just because it was easier to move 15 of y'all into here rather than 30 of y'all into here. Does anybody do not see the one that says scripting 1203? I'll have to re-add you if that's the case. Alrighty, so hopefully I'm going to be able to make this one inactive so you won't even see it anymore after today. So all of our work's going to be done in the one that says scripting 1203. There are some notices here that you haven't seen before because they were directed to the online folks. If you decide you would like to take this class online, or if you miss a day, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to watch the lecture and work along, just like you were an online-only student, because the online students are going to be watching the same lectures as you get in this class. They're being run at the same time as though everybody was taking the same class. Just some of y'all will be watching the lectures online, and for the students sitting in a classroom, you're going to participate in them. So what are the lectures? Well, you know, I may project some PowerPoints and stuff like that on the screen. Most of the time, I'm going to be taking notes. I'm going to have Notepad going, and I'm going to be writing notes because we don't have any PowerPoints for the text, and I haven't created that many for it. Or I'm going to be typing along and entering code. And when I'm typing along and entering code, I'm hoping that y'all are doing the same, just to burn it into your brain. Like if I write a loop, I'll type in a loop. I want y'all to type in the same loop. Now, if you're not a fast typer, that's okay. Now, if you have a physical disability that makes typing impossible, then we'll work around that. And you'll have to let me know. I haven't gotten any, worksheets from the student services saying that some folks need help like that. But there may be somebody. I've had people who can only write with one arm, or they have Parkinson's or something and their arms are shaky, in which case we do something else. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to attend class. I would recommend taking notes. I would recommend typing along with what I type. At the end of class, you're going to go ahead and upload your program that you get working into the assignments folder. The online students will do the same. They'll fill out, they'll work along with the video, and then they'll upload what they did into the assignments folder. Now, if you're watching the video at home, and you're watching it on a phone or something, and it's really hard to see the text and stuff like that, that's a bit of a problem. But I do not absolutely demand that the people who are watching the videos online follow along and type everything into it. Do you get a better education that way? Yeah, you do. You learn it better. But if you don't, then there is a form you can fill out saying, yes, I did watch it. You'll find that over here in Content, Class Information, Lecture Video Form. Looks kind of like that, except you'll want to download it. Yeah. Your name. Which video did you watch? I watched video C. The date watched. Did you look at the daily notes from the video? Because like I said, I'm typing in these notes. I will put them into the notes folder under Contents. And then what did you learn from the video? Please write at least 4 sentences describing what you learned. Now, if you don't feel like writing that kind of stuff, you'd be better off typing the code in as we type it in, right? So, it's up to you. So when you log into our D2L section, you'll see the assignments, you'll see content. Right now, assignments is blank. That's going to be populated with a whole bunch of book work pretty soon. You definitely need the textbook. So I know that sometimes you take a class and you don't use the textbook very much, and this one you will use the textbook. And then there's the content menu. And in the content menu, you see things like class information, some extra Python libraries we may be using in a while, information about the textbook. There's a physical textbook, but we will also make use of an online-only textbook. Bizarrely, they have the same name. Python for Everyone is a physical textbook, and the online people called their textbook Python for Everyone, but they're not related. They teach the same subject, but they're not by the same authors. They don't go by this, teach different things, different approaches. You will want to install Python at home. You can get around installing Python at home by running Python on some websites. You know, I will give you all some links for that. Online Python 3. It'll take me to, you know, a compiler, a Python editor where I can type some code in, you know, and stuff like that. And so, you know, if your machine crashes, you don't just say, oh, I'm not going to do my homework. Instead, you know, you go to one of the online Python ones. But you're a lot better off installing it on your home machine. Is there anybody in here who did not take fundamentals of programming? It's okay, just wave your hand. I know that somebody was trying to enroll in it and they got told no. And so I told the advisor, yeah, let him in because I've had him in other classes. Hopefully you've already got Python installed in that case if you were doing your homework at home. If you took a version that was taught in Python. A while back, people were teaching it without teaching Python. So this may be your first introduction to it, or you may be, you know, old school at it. I mean, you may be, you know, old hands at it. You may be real experienced in it. Either way, the class is designed, you know, to teach you from the grounds up, but I'm hoping that we don't have to spend nearly as long on the basics as, you know, we would if you had never taken 1113. So you will want to install Python. We're going to make it an assignment. You'll need to get it done by Monday. You know, it gives you several days to work on it. When I assign homework, generally it's due, like if I assign something today, it'll be due Monday at midnight next week. So that essentially gives you a week to do it. All right, let's hit the syllabus. So when you click on one of these links, it's going to give you this little preview here. If it's a Word document and not a PDF, the preview can be really lousy. Sometimes it's not even showing you, you know, the most important information in it. It may skip showing you images and stuff like that. So anytime I view a preview in D2L, I go ahead and download it. You can just click on the little down arrow there, or if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's a download there. So if you ever look at a document in the preview and it seems like some important information is missing, like the instructions for the assignment, go ahead and download and look at it. All right, here's our syllabus. All right, my name, Jeff Thompson. You can call me Professor Thompson. I don't care if you call me by my first name. That's cool. Just don't call me any bad words, you know. If you're going to do that, then do it in private. I'm kidding. So there's my office location. It's downstairs. I have office hours posted in the content section. I'm here Monday through Thursday, but at various times because some classes I teach during the day, you know, and some classes I teach during the evening, so I'm not always there. If you need to contact me, email's great. My phone is even better. And what I will ask y'all to do is just right away, right off the bat, if you do not mind, pop open your phone or your tablet, send me a text message with your name, and put scripting, you know. Rebecca Smith scripting. And that way I will be able to contact you, and better yet, you'll be able to contact me. Why would you want to contact me? Best reason, or not the best reason, any reason you need to is good. But if you get stuck on a programming problem, you just whip your phone out, you take a picture of the code that's giving you the syntax error, that's not, you know, you text it to me, and I will work on it. I'll work on it with you. I'll tell you, oh, well, you know, look at that line. Or, you know, I'll type up a little example or something like that, and I'll shoot it straight back. Quite often, we can handle things much more quickly that way than, you know, requiring you to send me an email and attach your code to email and me having to, you know. So the students who take advantage of that, who go ahead and take pictures of their problems and text them to me and then get, you know, my response pretty back, usually they find that to be a really fast, really nice way of getting help. So I strongly recommend doing that. You don't want to give me your phone number, you don't want to text me, that's okay. You may decide later that you want to do it. The other reason why, you know, I would like to have people's phone number is due to inclement weather, right? You know, it might get snowy, might get icy, they might, you know, cancel class for the evening. And yeah, if you're subscribed to Blue Link, then, you know, you should get notices to that effect. But it's really nice if I can send a text out making sure that everybody knows, you know, stay home. And speaking of inclement weather, even if campus is not closed, if you don't feel safe getting out, don't leave your house, right? You know, your safety is more important than showing up at a class, right? I'm taping all the lectures and they will be uploaded. You could just, stay at home and then watch it the next day. So, I'm never going to jump on your case for not showing up. Bad weather, stay home even if campus is not. If you're sick, you might send me a text message to let me know why you're not coming, but, just stay home and do the lecture as soon as you can. All right, so the course title, Script Programming. Now, there's all sorts of scripting languages. The one we've chosen is Python. There are other scripting languages. There's JavaScript. I also want to teach y'all some JavaScript. JavaScript is a completely different thing, but it shares a lot of syntax. On the other hand, a lot of its syntax is different. And what JavaScript does is it runs in your browser, whereas Python doesn't run in the browser. And so how is it delivered? We have lectures and you have online components. You know where it is. If you're an online student, you can come in, but we don't have very many seats open. Last week we only had like 7 people enrolled in a class, and then y'all all came in a rush. That's totally cool. Just means that there's hardly any extra seats. So guys who are taking this online, you better contact me if you want us to come in and sit in on a session. Who knows? Maybe we can move to a bigger room. So you'll need the Python development tools. You can get the same ones for Windows, Mac, or Linux. And like I said, if you flat out cannot, get it on your home computer, then you can use, one of the online versions. I don't recommend trying to do all your homework on a tablet, or something like that. Yeah, you might be able to get it done, but you're a lot better off sitting in front of a computer. So here's the textbook we're going to be using. You do need the textbook. It's available, at the bookstore. You can get it at Amazon. Note that if you get a Kindle version, I love electronic textbooks, but you will not be able to use it at the testing center. So if you're going to take the exams at the testing center, then you won't be able to use your Kindle version of it, right? They're just not going to let you pop up, a Kindle Fire or an iPad or whatever in the middle of the exam. Now, if you're taking it via the online proctoring service known as ProctorU, you pay them some money and then they, watch you over your webcam to make sure you're not cheating. You can read a Kindle version by having the on-screen viewer, there. So the physical textbook is nice if you're planning on taking it at the testing center or online. And both of those would, be true for the students who are taking this as an online class. They ought to get the physical version. Y'all can get the electronic version because I will let y'all use the electronic version in class. And we will use the free website, Python for Everyone. So our course objectives, we're going to learn scripting with the Python language. We're going to learn more about scripting than you did in 1113. Use it. Understand arrays, lists, dictionaries, parameter passing, and class creation. Now, you probably hit upon arrays and lists, which are really the same thing in Python. You probably did not use dictionaries. It's not popping open a book and looking something over. That's a data structure. Hopefully you wrote functions where you passed in parameters, but we're going to learn a lot more about that. And creating classes. This is what's known as object-oriented programming. And when you took fundamentals, you probably didn't hit that at all. Object-oriented programming is a large beast of a topic of which we're only going to brush upon. When you go on and you take further classes like Java and Advanced Java, you're going to learn a lot more of that. Maybe you don't have to take Java and Advanced Java, but hopefully y'all will fall in love with programming and want to take as many programming courses as you can get. We will learn how to create web pages with Python and create graphical user interface programs with Python. What's a graphical user interface? It's just, any program that displays something on screen with buttons and movable windows and stuff like that, rather than being a command line program, which is what you did, when you were doing fundamentals, right? You ran something and it popped up in a little window. Not that window. You used idle. You probably used idle or you used another Python editor. But it's the same idea. This is called a console. And, you run the program, you get all your output there. That's what we will do a lot, but we're also going to want to do visual applications, graphical user interface. People like that kind of stuff, right? The green screen, the text, that's kind of 70s. That's kind of 80s. Went out, with the invention of Windows and the Mac and stuff like that. And then use JavaScript to create dynamic web pages. Now, the faster we get through our material from the book, the more we will be able to dedicate to using JavaScript. I'm hoping that we have a couple of weeks on that. So that's my goal. If you don't have a computer, your computer crashes, you can't get your homework done, there's a business lab down in room 206 where all the development tools are installed on the computers. And yeah, you can't get in here Sunday to do it, but you know, you can come in during the day or whatever. You know, Monday through Friday, I'm sure it's open. Saturdays, not so sure about. But anyways, you have access to computers with the development tools on it. And as I mentioned, you can go online and find an online version of Python. When you Google up a version of it, I'm going to actually post a link, but when you do, you're going to want to make sure it supports Python 3. We are learning Python 3. It's the same one that you learned in fundamentals, but there's a difference between Python 3 and Python 2. A lot of software out there is written in Python 2, but just because it hasn't been converted to Python 3. We're learning Python 3, and if you ever need to work on a Python 2 one, then you'll learn the differences. So course tools. You'll need the Python development tools. You'll want to download Python and install it. In my classes, I illustrate using the Idle editor, IDLE, named after Eric Idle, not being idle, you know, not doing anything. The guy who invented Python loved Monty Python, and so he named it after Eric Idle. Anyways, there are other Python development environments, some that are much more, you know, powerful than Idle. You feel like learning those, you're absolutely free to do that. Is everybody else in here running Windows 10 as well, or is this just the workstation, the instructor's workstation?
Yeah,
We all are? Okay, that's cool. I'm glad they're starting to upgrade the machines. I'm not seeing any alternate versions of the Python development tools here. That doesn't mean they're not on here. But we use idle. We will use d2l.rose.edu. All y'all have an email address. Last page gives you helpful information about how to access email. I bet y'all already know how to do it. You can just go to gmail.com if you want, or raider.rose.edu. Either one will take you to a login page. If you're not in the habit of checking that one, then you might configure it to forward the email to your regular email address. But you probably all have phones with email clients, and you can just set it up to monitor, you know, raider.rose.edu as well. The grading scale is traditional. 90% is an A, 80% is a B, 70% is a C, and so on. Grades broken down as follows. About a third of your grade is based on programming homework. About a third of it is based on the in-class tutorials that we do, or the lecture videos if you're doing it online. And then we have quizzes and exams. Each quiz is worth like 20 points, and each exam is worth 100 points. So the quizzes help your grade. Don't blow them off, or else it's going to bring your exam score down. And then a final project, the details of which we will describe, you know, as we get a month or so into through the class. So submitting homework. I want you to get your program running, and then when it does run, take a screenshot of it. I have instructions about how to take screenshots if you've never done it, and we'll probably take one in class just for practice. When you take a screenshot, you can crop it to only show the window, you know, or you can upload it just, you know, as is. I don't care if you crop it or not. Maybe you don't want me to see your desktop wallpaper or whatever. In that case, feel free to crop it. So then with using the assignments link, you're going to submit both the screenshot and the program, right? You're going to create a .py file or multiple .py files. And then when you submit the assignment, there's a comments field. Use that to say if you think your program works correctly or what is not working. We'll see the submission screen, and I'm sure that you've all seen your the submission screen, but you know that there's a comments field. If your program's not working, say so there. Don't just leave it as a surprise for me, right? Yeah, I will grade you more generously if you fess up to it not working correctly. But it does have to compile and run. If you write something that crashes right from the get-go, it won't even start running, you're not going to get any credit for it. Which brings us to the next point. Programming assignments must be able to run in order to get any credit. If there are syntax errors that prevent it from running, you only get 1 point out of 100 for the assignment. Also, if you do not submit a screenshot, you will get partial credit at best. If you can't get the program to meet the requirements, like it's supposed to print out all the numbers of pi, but it only prints out the first 5 or whatever, okay, you can't print out all the digits of pi, right, because it's an infinite number. But anyway, suppose it prints out the wrong numbers. You might get credit for it, but you get partial credit. In that case, what I want you to do is to put a comment in noting what was wrong in the submission, or if I find it, I'll make note of that in my feedback to you. Partial credit may be awarded for assignments that do not meet full criteria for the assignment. It prints the wrong number for pi. But if that's the case, if you only receive partial credit, you can revise it and resubmit it to get more credit. Your program doesn't work, I'll take note of why, what you didn't do, or say that there was a 3-part assignment and you only did the first 2 parts. You know, you won't like it just getting a 60% on it. You can go ahead and finish the 3rd part and upload it. So programming assignments are due 1 week from the day they are signed. For example, if I gave it to you Tuesday, October 1, doubt that's the real date, then they have to be done on Monday, October 8th. There's something wrong with my dates there. Yeah. Anyways, if I assign it Tuesday, it's done Monday. If I assign it Thursday, it's going to be due Wednesday at midnight. I'll go in and fill in real dates there. So you see all these different ways of accumulating points. You might think, okay, I can blaze and get 100 on all the quizzes and all the exams, and I can come in here and type everything you show me to do, Mr. Professor, and I've already got a 60% there. Maybe I'll just do 1 or 2 more programs and I'm going to pass the class. No, you have to get half of the programs up and running. You have to score at least half of your programming. You have to make a 50% at least on your programming homework in order to even pass the class. Why? Because we're learning programming. We're not learning book knowledge. If you wanted to just learn book knowledge, you'd grab a book, you'd read through it, maybe you'd look at the little quizzes on it. You need to actually know how to program. And sometimes that bites people. You get behind in your programs, you're not finishing your programs, you're turning them very late and getting only a little bit of credit for it. It can be a drag. So do write your programs. Work hard at getting your programs done and work hard at getting them done on time. All right. You may, have heard of getting incompletes. Maybe you've taken incompletes in your classes in the past. Basically, the idea behind that is that, for some reason you can't go to the last 4 weeks of class and your instructor gives you an incomplete. What we have been told to do in this division is to just go ahead and give you the grade instead. So if stopping at that point would have awarded you a C, then you go ahead and get your C. But then you talk to me about it, and we come up with a plan that, if you can complete your work in the next 4 weeks or whatever, we will file a grade change request, and you'll get your A or whatever. Because if you get filed, if you get assigned an incomplete and then you don't do the work, it turns into an F. So you'd rather, me give you a C or whatever, and then you can turn it into an A, rather than me give you an incomplete and then you not do anything and turn it into an F, which quite often happens when people take an incomplete. So take-home homework will be accepted up to 7 days late. If you turn it in within a week, you get a 10% deduction. Each additional week, I don't know why I stuttered on that word, each additional week is another 10%. However, it's more than 4 weeks late, you're not going to get any credit for it. You've had a month. So do pay attention to that. I will give you all a day's grace, right? If you're stuck on something and you can't turn it in Monday at midnight, you need to come in and ask me questions on Tuesday. Yeah, that's okay. In that case, you get it done by Tuesday night, and I'm not going to knock you for it. So penalties for late assignments might be waived at my discretion if you discuss it with me, right? Hey, my kid's been in the hospital. I haven't been able to work on it. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, I got to go on TDY. I'm not going to be doing this while I'm doing that. Can I watch the videos when I get, talk to me about it. If that is the case, when you do submit the homework, go ahead and fill in the comments field. Mention, like I talked to you, my, kid was in the hospital. Something like that. Trigger that memory in me. Because if you turn in something and it's late, I'm probably just going to knock off the points. I may not remember that you talked to me about it. So do use that comments field to your advantage. All right, and quizzes must be, why don't we fix that? By the due date. The cool thing about quizzes, though, is that I let you retake them. You can retake them. You score a 70 on it the first time, you go, hey, I need to learn this stuff. And then you take it again, you get 100 on it, and you get your A. That's the way you want to do it. However, you have to take it the first time, right? I'm not going to just give you an infinite amount of time if you didn't even bother taking it the first time. So take it the first time. If you don't get a perfect score on it, no sweat. You're going to get to revise it. So what happens is you submit it by the due date. After that due date, I grade them all, and then you check your grades. You check which ones you missed, and you can retake it if you want. And that way, quizzes are more a learning tool than a measurement tool, right? Exams are measurement tools. Quizzes are a learning tool. So attendance is taken every class meeting. However, there's no deduction for missed classes. If you miss a class, just watch the video. Get it done pretty soon so that you're keeping up, and upload either the work that you generate or the lecture review document that I showed you. In general, students who attend classes and do not miss many days perform better in the course. Obviously, that does not apply to the online-only students. But I found that if people start dropping off, halfway through and they think to themselves, oh, I'm just going to watch the lectures at home. Well, these lectures, maybe they're kind of boring. Maybe you don't want to sit there and watch them. It's an hour and 20 minutes of some guy droning on about programming. So you stop watching the videos as well. And bad things happen to your grade at that point. So I recommend everybody who's in here keep coming in today. But if you need to swap to become an online-only student, or you need to miss a day, that's totally okay. All right, there's an AW policy. In response to federal regulations, I doubt they're new anymore, but that's been the wording on here, for the past, decade. If somebody enrolls in a class but doesn't attend the class, then they are dropped from the class, and an AW is marked on their transcript. The reason for that is people got really tired of giving people grants to go to college, and then the person would take that money, go enroll in a class, get some grant, but then they wouldn't actually attend the class, and then they go to a different school and they do that again, and so on. So if you get dropped from a class due to an AW and somebody gave you money, in order to do that, that somebody's going to come back and take it from you. Obviously, all y'all are not going to fall in that category because you're already here, you're already participating. Just keep aware, though, that you do need to participate in a class in the first week or so of it going. And I've had somebody, come in and on the third or the fourth week and then tell me they thought attendance was optional. And I say, what, did you read the transcript? I mean, the syllabus? And they go, no. And they say, well, if you didn't read the syllabus and you didn't contact me and you didn't attend the class, then you haven't been participating. You have an AW on your transcript. And that's not my rules. That's the college rules, and we can talk to the dean about it if you want. And so they were real unhappy because they thought they had good reason for not attending. I don't know why they made the assumption that attendance and non-participation were okay and that they could catch back up, a quarter of the way into the semester. Doesn't apply to y'all. Student expectations. Look at that. I tell you to get C++, you're not going to get C++. You're going to get Python. So you need access to the internet and Python development tools. You got to check the D2L updates. Got to attend class. Watch the videos for the missed lectures. Now, when I say gotta, right, this is stuff that I strongly recommend. Read and use the required text. Keep up with the schedule and the due dates. Complete your assignments on time. Communicate to the professor about problems with the class. Now, like if you come in the week before finals and you haven't done half your homework and you want me to sit there and walk you through your homework and you haven't talked to me about why you're having trouble beforehand, then things are not going to go real well. Communicate with me as we're going along. And if you're struggling, I may not notice while I'm grading that one student has, fallen dramatically behind. I try to do that so I can check with you, hey, what's going on? But it's possible that I may miss it. So talk to me about it. If you need help, I'm here to help you. I'll come in on Fridays, even though I don't have any office hours. We can work this stuff out. I'll schedule time outside of my normal office hours to work with y'all. Ask help when needed. Text me when you're stuck. Take pictures of your screen. Please feel free to bring a laptop. It's totally cool if you bring a laptop. These school computers, you never know when some of them are going to get swapped out or one of them's going to die or the hard drive's going to get reformatted or whatever. If you've been saving all your work on the school computer, it could disappear. Yeah, you could bring a little flash drive, but and then you'll leave your flash drive in the class, and you come and ask me later, and I'll say I don't know where it is. Anyways, so laptops are cool if you got one and you want to tote it around. On the other hand, it's certainly not necessary. You do need to check D2L regularly. I don't send email out about everything. Now, I believe y'all get notices nowadays about things that are posted in D2L. I've never seen those notices, but I think y'all do, right? Every time I post a notice on D2L, do y'all get email notification? I'm seeing some heads shaking. No. Well, I wonder if that's a setting I can change. That is useful information because last semester I was being told by people that they were. Just about the time that we all learn D2L, we're going to be switching to Canvas next semester and the semester after that, which is a different learning management system. So, I will grade homework within a week of submission. If there are errors in your program, you will not receive full credit, but you can then correct and revise your program to earn more points. It doesn't mean that you're going to get 100, right? You can't turn in something that just flat out is busted and then, take 4 weeks and then turn around and turn it in and it's correct and expect 100 on it. But I do want you to correct the mistakes, and in the feedback, I will note what was wrong, and, I will say turn it in for more credit. It'll probably bump it up to an A. Like, you get 50%, and then you get it working. Yeah, probably bump it up to an A. It was a late submission to begin with. So email queries sent to me should get a response within 24 hours. Feel free to text me and say, hey, you didn't answer my email. Or even better, saying I sent you an email, right? As soon as you send an email, because I don't get all the notifications, on my phone. It's not going to buzz every single time when y'all send me a notice. So send me a text saying I've sent an email. Can you look at it? So communication by text messages usually gets responses more quickly. Do not feel shy about texting me. Don't say, hey, it's 2 a.m. and I don't want to wake the guy up. I know how to silence my phone. And also, I stay up until 4 a.m. every night anyways. So I'll be hanging out, you can go ahead and text me anytime. I won't write your programs for you, but I will look at what you've written and offer suggestions or further explanations, and maybe I'll show you code snippets. And then office hours for face-to-face. What can you expect from me? Well, here's a couple of things I think that y'all can expect from me. I should give you clear instructions for assignments. If I haven't, if you look at the assignment and it doesn't make any sense to you, let me know. You're probably not the only one with that question, right? Don't get embarrassed and go, well, I didn't understand it. I'm not going to say anything about it. Go ahead, text me, say, hey, I don't understand homework 5. And I will communicate with you my expectations, and I'll probably post a notice for everybody. Because if you didn't understand it, obviously I didn't write it clearly enough. I should answer questions regarding assignments, whether you pose them in person, email, phone, or text. I will grade assignments and give feedback for work that needs to be corrected, and give a week's notice of due assignments and 2 weeks' notice of exams. Now, what does that mean? The exam dates are already set. If you go and look, in the class dates document that's in the contents menu. But say we want to change them, then you'll have at least 2 weeks' notice. And if that's not going to work out for you, then you can tell me that, and we will work it out so that you can go and take it, at the online learning resource center. When the appropriate time comes, just take it within the week. Post all assignments, notices, PowerPoints, and reading assignments on D2L. I can't post a book on D2L, but everything else I will. All my notes and everything will be on D2L. All due dates will be shown on D2L. If you see a folder that does not have a due date, text me about it. Don't just wait a week and then say, oh, well, I didn't do it because there wasn't a due date on it. Instead, text me about it. I'll correct it, and I'll probably give everybody a week from the point that I correct it, right? But don't try to, not tell me about it just because you're hoping that I'll give you extra time. Academic integrity. I hate talking about this, especially for people who have had to sit through my syllabus, in the past. It's real important that you do your own work. I'll reiterate. It's real important that you do your own work. Oddly enough, Row students, I have found, have a better sense of integrity than some at the 4-year colleges I've taught at. And so I'm expecting y'all to do good. What does that mean? It means doing your own work. When you're stuck on a problem, it's better to ask me. Here's what you need to absolutely not do. You're stuck on a programming problem, you ask you for help. And then you send the program, just saying, can I look at your code? You know, I just need to see what I did wrong. And instead you submit what she did. I've had people do that, believe it or not. And then you both get in trouble. What if you even left her name in it? It's real obvious to me when people are copying off of each other. Same with quizzes. Do your own work on the quizzes, right? Because I'm going to give you a chance to up your grade on it anyways. Now, in class, we do these programming assignments, these in-class stuff, and I encourage all to work with each other. Now, if you can't figure something else, and you've already typed it all, and I'm wandering around trying to help everybody, it's totally okay for you to go, you need the colon there at the end. You go, okay, thanks. Then don't let that turn into something where you're going to rely on each other outside of class to work on the programs together. Now, kind of the worst case is when you have multiple people living in the same apartment and they're all using the same computer and they want to just write the program once and then submit it 3 times. You have to write your own stuff. Otherwise, it's plagiarism. Plagiarism is the use of thoughts, ideas, words, research that another person did, including programs that you write, without explicit and accurate credit to the original author. Now, there's something slightly blurry about that, because when you're programming, if you're stuck on something, you don't understand something, what do? You go and Google it. Like, what if I need to learn how to do something called list comprehension Python 3? You Google it up. You'll find some problems regarding it. A lot of the problems are answered on a site called Stack Overflow. You see something there, you copy it, you paste it in, you know. Don't do that. Learn from it, but don't copy and paste. If you are going to copy and paste, you better give credit to where you got it from, and I still may ask you to rewrite it in your own. The worst case is if you take somebody's answer online, you submit it as your own work, and I notice it, and I probably will, because it'll probably be written in a different form than what we are learning in this class, then you'll get a 0 for it. And worse things will happen at that point. That is considered academic dishonesty as well. If you copy stuff off the internet, you better get full credit for it. The best thing to do is just understand the example, learn from it, and make it your own code. Just like if you're writing a paper, right? You're not going to open up a book and then take a page out of it and put it into your code. I mean, you know, out of your paper. Why am I talking so much about this? Because it happens. Usually, you know, a couple of times per semester, not in one class, but, you know, it happens, and I have to, you know, it's always a very unhappy event. So copying or preparing another person's work. If you do that thing where you ask for somebody else's program and then you submit it, you both get in trouble for it. That's really not too fair for the person who gave you the work, but they shouldn't have given you the work, and consider this a warning for that. Consequences of academic dishonesty. The least that will happen is you'll get an F for the assignment. But additionally, the student will be reported to the division dean and the director of student conduct. And why do people do that? Because what was happening in the past is you'd have serial cheaters. And they would cheat in one class until they got caught, and then they would ask, you know, the professor, hey, you know, I just really, you know, I was really stressed. I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. And the guy would go, okay, this is just your first offense. It's okay. And then the person would do it in another class and in another class. And so now all the information goes to, you know, the director of student conduct so that it can be tracked. Free personal counseling. If you need help resolving emotional conflicts, or you want to improve personal skills, overcome the effects of trauma or grief, decrease substance abuse, or achieve your intellectual or personal potential, absolutely take advantage of the free counseling, right? It's free. Take advantage of it. The people there are pretty cool. You can call them, set up an appointment. Section 505 of the Rehabilitation Act used to be called, you know, disabilities. People call it something slightly different now. The Student Access Services. If you need help, then you go and talk to them about it, and they fill out a form. They send me the form, and we're all good to go. What kind of help may you need? I've already mentioned the difficulty typing. What if you're dyslexic and it takes you longer to read things? What if you need extra time, during, to take an exam? What if you want permission to record the lectures, and you don't want the teacher looking at you funny? Now, why should a teacher look at you funny when everything they do is being recorded and put on YouTube anyways? I don't know. But anyways, so you go and talk to them, you ask for help, they'll fill out the form, they'll let your teachers know exactly what your needs are, and we will fall over backwards trying to help you out. Okay, now this is kind of a repeat of the free personal counseling one. Mental health concerns or stressful events may lead to diminished academic performance. We have services available to assist you. It doesn't even have to be about stuff on this campus. I had a case where a student was physically assaulted by an instructor on another campus, and it was messing them up, right? And they told me about it because they felt safe. And so I sent them to talk to the folks here. Those people contacted the school at the other place, and then some resolution happened. The Student Success Center. Let's just click on that link and see where it goes. See what kind of information we could get at the Student Success Center. Study Skills Assistant. Connect with campus support resources, assessment of student learning styles, academic advisement support. And then there's a little, calendar. Math anxiety, tips to succeed in science courses, getting organized, wise use of credit cards, couponing, 7 tips to get the job you want, stress management, stuff like that. If any of that looks of interest to you, go to that website, look it out, and go talk to them. All right. Bookstore link. Of course, you can get to the bookstore online. The student handbook, we mentioned the student handbook. You may as well have a way to get towards it easy. Oh, well, what do you know? I got an error opening it that way. Let's try it that way. It's nice to have online access to it. It's a lengthy document. All right, and login assistance. I bet all of y'all are already logged in. But if you can't, well, then how could you get to this page? Well, you can log into D2L without being logged into a campus computer, via your phone or whatever. You're going to call the IT help desk. You might just add that to your contacts. Email assistance. Again, you could go to the IT help desk. D2L. D2L is supported by a different team. Now, assume that if you ask the IT help desk, then they would direct you to the right people. But there's a form you can fill out. The form's pretty cool. I use this one. The instructors use it as well as the students. I can't figure out how to do something. And you fill out a little form and you give them your phone number and they call you back, or you give them your email address and then they figure it out. And they're usually astonishingly fast. We have really, really good people organizing, and running the learning management system. Can we close it? Well, all right. Okay. All right, enough about the syllabus. Are there any questions over what we've talked about so far? Those of y'all who've had me in prior classes are going, I wish you'd stop talking about this because I know it from last semester. Well, sorry, but not everybody has. Let's close this. But really, any questions so far? Let me reiterate how the class is going to work then. What we're going to do is during the lectures, I will be typing code examples in as well as doing my regular lecture. What I would like for y'all to do is to try to follow along. Periodically, I will stop and wander around and make sure that everybody, who's trying to follow along is got it going, right? That you don't have any syntax errors or whatever. Y'all are also free to, look at each other's screens for help, stuff like that. Now, if you don't want to help the person next to you, that's totally cool. I'm not going to make you. It's not a requirement. But when you have a large class, things go more quickly if people are helping each other. This is a medium-sized class. It's not a huge class. Still, it would be helpful if everybody's helping each other. So we're going to do that at the end of the class period. You're going to take what you typed in, you're going to upload it. Now, if you didn't type in a darn thing, upload a note just saying you were here. Right. That way I know you were here. I have proof that you were here. Right. I'd rather y'all to get it going. And then upload it even if you don't get it working. Right. That way you get credit there for being the day. The in-class folders are worth grades. They're worth 30% of your total grade. So just by coming in, sitting here and typing stuff and uploading it, right, you're going to get 30% out of your 100% that you want for the class. Then, along with those things, we're going to have homework assignments. And homework assignments will be based on the book, and homework assignments will also be based on what we talk about in class. Now, we're going to diverge a bit. I'm not going to just pop up the book and then talk about it line by line, as opposed to what you might have had happen in the fundamentals course. Instead, it's going to be kind of a parallel set of information. So I may talk about things that you've already read about in the book. I may talk about things that you haven't hit already in the book. I may talk about things that aren't in the book. I will try to indicate those in particular. The reason why is I don't mind showing you something and then you read about it in the book and you've already learned a lot about it, right? It clicks really fast. Or vice versa. You've read about it in the book and then, 2 weeks later I'm talking about it in class. There's no guarantee that the book and that the in-class lectures are going to exactly coincide. I try to, right? But I will be giving you information in what I think is the most logical sense, which means that we will probably be talking, for example, about lists earlier than they are introduced in the book. If you've already taken 1113, you probably already understand lists. Not everybody has to take 1113 anymore. It's being removed from the course curriculum as a requirement. It's a recommended for some, series of courses for some degrees. So I can't just assume that everybody already has it. But my goal is to go through all the material that we need to learn and then step into the new world of JavaScript. What is JavaScript? It's a scripting language that controls the browser rather than running in the window, the console window. And it's what allows interactive web pages. You move your cursor over something, you click on something, and it makes a little pop-down menu occur. That's JavaScript doing that. Yeah, maybe you used computers and the internet back in the late 90s. You didn't have all these nice web pages that were interactive like this anymore back then, like you do now. JavaScript is what has made the web the thing that it is today. The highly interactive, Amazon flat out would not work the way that it does now if you did not have JavaScript. Yeah, they had Amazon, but it was a real primitive little thing. So we do want to get to the point where we're doing JavaScript. Alrighty. So we're going to do the in-class work. You're going to do the homework. If you're taking this online, you're going to watch the videos, and then you're going to do the homework. You're going to follow along just like you were in here. Then periodically, you will be taking quizzes based on which chapters you have finished. Now, the quizzes are drawn pretty much from the book work rather than what we lecture about in here. What I mean by that is I'm not going to introduce something esoteric that's not covered in the book and then demand that you know it on a quiz, usually. That's not my goal. The quizzes are supposed to echo what's in the book, and then what I talk about in here should enhance that, but it may not show up in the quizzes. Then you get to retake the quizzes, and then we're going to have exams. Yes, sir?
We take the quizzes at home.
Right. They're not, in class. They're just online assignments like any other thing. When you're getting ready to take a quiz, yeah, the question is, do you take the quizzes at home? Yeah, you do. There's a section here called quizzes. You'll click on that. You'll see a list of quizzes. As a matter of fact, let's just make one right now, just as proof that we know how to do it. Okay, so I'm going to call this one Quiz 0. It's only going to have one question. Am I participating in class? Right, that one's hard. You're going to click yes on that. So let's add a question to it to state that that's the case. It's going to be a true-false question. Click true to show that you are participating in the class. And you'll get some points for doing this, even though it's kind of silly for you to get 20 points just for clicking true. Why not? It's going to be listed in the quizzes. You may as well do that. Okay, so if you go now to the quizzes section, you should see that quiz, Quiz 0. There could be times when I'm going to give you in-class quizzes. I can't rule that out. But the ones that show up here are going to be the ones that I expect you to take at home. you're going to go in there, and you're going to click the start button, you're going to click true, you're going to click submit. Hopefully that'll work. Go ahead and do that now. Now, why did I name it 0 rather than 1? Well, in general, and almost all programming languages, when you're accessing a list of items, the first element is actually called item 0. It's called zero-based indexing. So it's just going to kind of be a reminder of that. All right. Yes, sir.
Well, it says I'm in Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, 5:40 p.m. sick children. So I'm not in the correct one, so I can't see the code.
So when you're at the main page, you don't see the
Top middle.
yeah, that one. You don't see the one that says scripting 1203?
Okay, it's not showing up when I select the other option.
Oh, okay. Then after class, come up here and we'll find your student ID number and we'll plug you in, okay? The other thing that I want y'all to do, to know how to do, is take a screenshot. Now, you probably already know how to do this. There are like 20,000 different applications for doing that. But I'm going to make a little folder so that you can take a screenshot of whatever's on your screen, just a D2L page or whatever. So what I want you to do, well, you can go look for instructions. If you come over to class information, there's a document called Taking Screenshots of Your Work. To take a screenshot of everything on the screen, you hit the print screen button. Over there, you know, up at the top. And even laptops have a print screen button. This is assuming you're using Windows. If you're using a Mac, then the instructions are different, but they're down here in the bottom. If you want to take a picture of just a specific window, you click Alt Print Screen. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold the Alt button down, and I'm going to hit Print Screen. And what did it do? It didn't make any document, did it? No. You're going to go and open Word or open Paint and paste it into there. So if you don't have Word installed on your computer, you can, you know, just launch Paint or something. And then paste it in there. Control V will do it. And there's your screenshot. That's enough. Now, I don't need screenshots of your code because you're already uploading your code separately. Just take a screenshot, paste it into a document, save it, and upload it to the Dropbox. I'll make the Dropbox in just a moment. I thought I had an example of the file name. I didn't. Just put your name and followed by the word lecture A. So here I go. I have my nice screenshot, file save as. You may as well create a directory to store all your stuff. I usually put it right on my desktop. I'm going to call it CIT113 scripting. Call it anything you want. Put your documents anywhere where you want. And I'm going to call this my name, Jeff Thompson, Lecture A. Now I have a screenshot document. I want you to do one of these for all your homework assignments. However, this is the only time I'm going to ask you to do one in class, right? Because it takes extra time to do it in class. In class, just upload the code. But when you're doing the homework at home, go ahead and take a screenshot of it. All right, let's make a folder for it, and we're going to be done for today. Now, what are you doing? All right, if you go to the assignments folder, you should see a folder named A. All of the lectures will be named by letters. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and so on. All the homework will be labeled as numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. So you just click on it. You'll upload the document. I'm pretty sure all of y'all know how to do that, and I'm sorry that you can't do it, but you'll get to pretty soon. Just go ahead and upload the screenshot at home if you don't get to do it in class today. And the other thing that I want you to do, homework 0 is going to be install Python and upload a screenshot of idle. I'll write up the instructions a little bit better than that, but while you're at home, you're going to install Python. 99.9% of you already have it installed. You're going to run idle and then take a picture of it. Upload that picture. That's enough. Don't even have to make idle do anything. How do you run idle? Well, when you installed Python, you also installed a desktop app called idle. So there we go. I've loaded it up. I'd hit Alt, print screen, take that, paste it into a document, and upload it. I'll write up the instructions. All righty, are there any other questions? All right, hope y'all are psyched. The rest of the classes are going to be more exciting than the syllabus day. So I will see y'all on Thursday.